Hey there, it's Fastus here. I'm going to do a quick video on items for the MMORPG kit. Just have a look at the basics and some hints and ideas on them. Now, items consist of a variety of scriptables, but the primary scriptable will be the item scriptable. There used to be a legacy version of it, but now there is one different type of scriptable for each different type of item. Now, the confusing bit here is this item type. An item has an item type, be it something like armor, weapon, junk, potion, vehicle. It also has a item type, which is really a sub-item type. So it is an item type of one of these four, and only these four have a sub-item type. So this item, for example, would be, say, an item of ammo. It is a silver bullet, and it has an item type, ammo item type, of type bullet. And the use for this is, say you have a item type bullet, and you have a silver bullet item of item type ammo type bullet, and you have a lead bullet, and you have a plastic bullet. You can have a gun weapon item that uses ammo type bullet, and all three of those items can be used within the same weapon. Now, each item also has a drop model, which is essentially a prefab. It allows it so that you can actually see the item in the scene if you drop it, or it's dropped by loot. We also have an item refine. This is optional. This allows you to level up the item, so it defines how much or how expensive it is to level up the item, what resources and what items you need to level up the item from 1 to 2, if you go to an NPC for refining, or if you have a refining item in the game. And also it defines repairs. They're both defined within item refine. Based on the item itself, they might have other specific item type scripts. A weapon, for example, has a base weapon ability script. A junk item pretty much has nothing. So if we have a look at that, go to example items, have a look at that. All of these can be created through create game data, and then you have this list here of items. Now, legacy item up here was the legacy, as the name suggests. The demos still use this. It's basically just of a script type item with a defined type property telling you what the item is. These items actually are script types of junk item, weapon item. So if we have a look at junk item, we need to give it a name. I'll just call it junk item 1. This name is only used for internal use. This name up here, we'll call it mushroom 1. This is the name that appears in game. This is the description that appears in game, and you'll see it's of a script type junk item. This list of properties is generic amongst all items. My junk item has no extra properties. It's just basically sellable junk. Other items will have more properties added onto the bottom, but they will all have these. Now you'll see titles and a number, as well as descriptions and a number. These are for localization. You can add a couple more descriptions in different languages. Your sprite is obviously your visual sprite in the user interface. Whoops, we'll give it a nice sprite. And your drop model, as I suggested, was the model that will be displayed in game. It's a prefab so that you can see it. And then sell price and weight and max stack, and the rest of these are all pretty self-defined. Your item refine is also game data item refine 1, and we will actually give that item refine there so that it's linked in. Now, item refine has things like levels and repair prices in it, and within that you can see, this is a success rate from 0 to 1, so there is a 100% chance if you spend 100 gold of going up a level, and there is a 19, I don't know, call it a 10% chance of going up a level, costing just over 9,000 gold, and if you fail, it's destroyed. So that's these these elements with multiple items appear quite often in a variety of items. Durability will be the same thing. You can see here that it says durability should be ordered from high to low. So at about 80% it costs you 10 gold, and 35% it costs you 200 gold to repair an item. Title colors, this is all fairly self-explanatory. So if we look at a more complicated item, so oops, game data, let's look at weapon, put a weapon in, weapon item axe, we'll call it an axe. Drop model, we'll have a look at that in a second. Item refine, same sort of thing. Equipment set is a very similar sort of thing, but more complicated. We'll look at that in a different video. But we hit, this is the first time, a type. Now this is the weapon type. This is a type of weapon, but it also has a weapon type of type, basically. So we need to create one of our types. So we've got armor, weapon, ammo, and vehicle. We create a weapon type of heavy. So it is a weapon type heavy. All heavy weapons are two-handed. They can only hit the selected target. And you can see things like effectiveness allow us to expand it out to add elements. We won't worry too much about that. And ammo. So if we dredge even further into the types of types, game data, ammo type is love. We shall call the title love. Now you'll see ammo type is virtually nothing. It is just really a class. It doesn't do anything other than allow you to say ammo type is of love, and then you can define items. So if we look at create game data item, ammo item love package, that's probably pretty rude, love, let's just call it love 1 to avoid making too much of a fool of myself. We can just say that is an ammo type love, and there's more information in there, how heavy the stack is, same as any other item, and then how it increases the damage. That's how ammos work. So if we go into our heavy axe, weapon type, where's weapon type love, ammo type, oh no, weapon type, actually we want weapon type heavy. So our weapon type for this axe is heavy. Heavy requires love, and that's love, and that is an item that is of a type ammo type love. That is a weapon axe of type heavy that requires an ammo type of type love. Now that's ammo item love 1. I could make ammo item love 2, 3, and 4, 5, all 6, and they're all of type love, and any item that's listed as a heavy requires that ammo. There's more to it in here. There's something else you'll see with items, base amounts and min amounts, and amount to increase each level. These levels here are defined, or use the refine level. So if you've refined something using our item refine up here, you've gone to an NPC, you've paid your 100 gold, you had a 100% chance, it's increased it from item 0 to item +1. When we go back to our item axe, we're doing 1 to 2 points of damage. We're a +1, we're doing 1.1 to 2.2 points of damage now because it's a +1. And that works same as harvest damage. Harvesting, you'll find when you look at harvestables, they will also list a weapon type. So that's how you define that an axe can chop a tree down, but a sword can't. Within that, you will be able to say that an axe, or in this case a heavy, can chop down trees and returns a certain amount of wood. So that's the other use for this. This is why we have these item types. You don't want to have to be able to say, for this type of axe you get this, for this type of axe. It's basically anything that believes itself to be a weapon type heavy can do a certain thing. Now if we have a quick look at our junk item, so we've refined something here, but we don't have a drop model. Now drop models are instantiated by the game using this item drop entity prefab that you will find in a init game instance. And that is basically, it's just a game object. It's got a model container, and it's got a hitbox and an animator, and it does a few things. Hitbox is so that, or box collider, so that it can be picked up. So if we decide we would like to have a different drop item, we're going to want a different model. So let's go and find a different model. We load up this item drop entity. let's say a brown mushroom. We dump the brown mushroom in the scene. I'll actually put it onto the model container. We'll just reset the transform for the mushroom, and it's obviously much too large. Now the reason we're doing this is when it adds it to the game, it will attach this brown mushroom entity to this box. So we don't want it to be too large, which it was, which is why we actually shrank the mushroom down, and we also want it to be placed correctly. So we'll move our mushroom down a bit, just have a look. Still not really in the middle. Move the mushroom down a bit, have a look. Yeah, so we now want, go to example item, we'll take just the mushroom, we'll drag it out, we'll create a prefab variant, and if I double click on this mushroom variant, we want to discard changes because this item drop entity doesn't want to have this mushroom in, otherwise every item drop will have a mushroom in. We'll see we've got our little mushroom, 2.2.2.2, it's been slightly moved down from the axis, so we can go to our junk item, to our game object, and we can drag that to there. So if the user drops this mushroom, it'll plonk this mushroom brown variant, game object, in the middle of this item drop entity and spawn this item drop entity on the screen and deal with everything. Because we've sized our mushroom according to how the item drop entity and we've placed it in the correct screen space, it should be fine. So we'll just go to a new character setting, 46, and we will give ourselves our junk item. Just give ourselves one of the junk items. So new characters should have a junk item of mushroom 1. It should have a drop model, can refined, it has a heal icon. So let us see how we go with that. Knowing my luck, it won't work, but we'll have a look. So single player, this character won't have it, so we'll delete them. We'll create a new character, call them test, and we'll start the game. And what we should see, if we look at our inventory down at the bottom, we should see one of those flags. Well, actually, what did I make it? Yeah, well, that's a mushroom. Mushroom type 1. It is junk, no sell price, no weight. And if we drag it into our scene, we have a brown mushroom, which we can pick up. And that's a basic junk item. I didn't add any of the others in, but if I was to add the weapon, you might need a bit more to it. I think the weapon didn't have a lot in it. I mean, there's no actual model for the weapon, so if you added it to the character, that wouldn't show up. There's no equipment set, which isn't required. There's no even drop model to it. So our offhand models, equipment models and things can be defined here. Now, of course, you can always go, if you're confused about these, the kit, actually that's textures, it's not what we're looking for. We're looking for game data resources. The kit defines the folders ammo types, armor types, and then actual items. So you can see when there's your body, that's an armor item of armor type body. So that's just how they define it there. Look, that's a basic look at it. It gets a lot more complicated once you want to start to add models and what have you, but we'll probably look at that in a different video. So let me know if you've got any other questions about this. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys later. Cheers.